Let's go to former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. He's joining us tonight, along with our What's Your Point host, Greg Grugan, in the podcast with us to talk about a meeting tonight in Harris County. It's a town hall. It's called Powered by People. So talk a little bit about this town hall. What's the purpose of this one?
We're bringing people together in Humble, Texas tonight at the Humble Civic Center at 6 p.m. And this is really important. It is not for Democrats. It's not for Republicans. It's for everyone. We could care less who you voted for in the last election, what partisanship defines you in conventional eyes. We want to make sure that, given the unprecedented changes that we're seeing in our country and in our state, some of the very real challenges that people are going through, that we don't divide along traditional lines, but find a way to come together. We were talking earlier about compromise and consensus and the things that really have made America great in the first place. I don't think that either party has a monopoly on this stuff. And if we'll take the time to listen and learn from one another, I guarantee you we can overcome these challenges right now. And we can make people's lives better right here in Harris County, throughout the state and across the country. So that's what these town halls are all about. Not a party, not a candidacy, not a candidate. It's about the people.
You said listen and learn from one another, which is something that sounds great in theory, but oftentimes we don't seem to be listening and learning from one another. Do you think that this will be a successful bipartisan type of town hall meeting?
I do, and I think that, look, both parties have this challenge or this problem where they talk at or even talk down to people. It certainly didn't work for Democrats in 2024. I mean, we lost across the board in races that we should have won, including the very most important position of public trust. So I think if we add some needed humility to this and listen more than we speak and seek to understand instead of being understood, I think we're going to have such greater success at the ballot box in 26 and 28. But even prior to that, given the challenges to the Constitution, rule of law, and our democracy right now, corruption running rife in the highest positions of power, we need to stand up and be counted. And I think these town halls, which we've held in Fort Bend, tonight in Humble, but also in Wichita Falls, in Amarillo, in Denton, places that Democrats and Republicans aren't showing up in right now, I think that's the answer. That's the solution.
Okay.
Beto, you are one of the leaders I've always enjoyed talking to. In fact, you're kind of at the top of my list of guys I'd want to have a beer with. Anyway, I covered you in two big races, and we're both from the border. And we saw something unprecedented happen in November of 2024 with a 27% cycle over cycle swing of Latino voters from Democrat to Republican. El Paso held, but Webb County, my home county, went red for the first time ever, and it went all the way down. Your thoughts as you saw that phenomenon unfold, and how do Democrats woo those voters back?
I'll chalk this up to two factors. One, the electorate desperately wanted change in 2024. And there was one party, and specifically one candidate, who really embodied that. It might not be the change you want in every particular, but if you want change and one party's offering the same solution, the same way, even saying, I can't think of a single thing I'd do differently than my predecessor, and the other is saying, I'm going to blow this thing up, drain the swamp, and radically upend every convention and custom that you've grown accustomed to, we saw the outcome of that. The other was, and I'm a lifelong and very proud Democrat, but our party was not listening to people in Webb County or El Paso County or Hidalgo County. They were saying, look, we're lifelong Democrats. We are proud of our generosity, the fact that we are cities of immigrants, but this thing is out of control. It's too much. Mr. President, what are you doing? And we had a commander-in-chief who I think did a remarkable job, on the merits objectively, but had a terrible time communicating any of that. And furthermore, not showing up in Webb County and acknowledging what people were feeling, trying to explain it away. Hey, no, that's just a Republican talking pointer. You're really not experiencing what you think you're experiencing. I was in Maverick County in Eagle Pass, and a woman said, look, Beto, I voted for you in the last election. I'm a lifelong Democrat. But how would you feel if 20 migrants were stomping through your backyard as they did in mine last night at 2 a.m.? I've got 3 kids at home. I wouldn't like that at all. She wants a solution. She wants action. So Democrats have to show, they can't just say that they're going to fight for people. They do that by listening to people. And then when they're in positions of power, they have to deliver for people. And until we do that, we're going to continue to lose these counties. The other side is the opportunity is if we show up for those folks, as we're trying to do right now, fight right alongside them, listen and learn from them, then we have a chance of winning them back.
One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is something that happens in both parties. It's called the excommunication factor, where moderates in either party are excommunicated as not being zealous enough on some of the issues. One of the examples I have is a guy you know, Senator, now Mayor John Whitmire, who's done an extraordinary job over the first 16 months of his mayorship here in Houston, and yet he is shunned by some in the Democratic Party as not progressive enough. Of course the Republicans do it too, and they push people out as not pure thinkers or not radical enough. That shows up in primaries as well. And so you've got moderates who are being pushed out of their parties. Have you witnessed that phenomenon?
Absolutely, and to just extend the metaphor of a church, you're really looking for converts, or you should be, and you shouldn't be looking for those that you're going to excommunicate, as you said, both parties are doing. I mean, you look at who the likely Republican nominee for Senate is in Texas, Ken Paxton. He's very exciting to the most radical extremist edge of his own party, but is he going to be able to speak to and connect with Democrats, independents, moderate Republicans? I mean, we will see. And if Democrats are going to win and come out of the wilderness, to your point, Greg, they cannot afford to be judgmental or exclusive or maintain an orthodoxy that alienates people who feel judged and talked down to. We've got to bring everybody in. And yes, there's room for moderates, there's room for conservatives, there's room for liberals as well. Given the question that's being called right now for America, like, will we continue to be a constitutional republic? Will we be governed by law or by tyrants and the super wealthy and super powerful? I mean, I think those issues trump, no pun intended, every other consideration, like where you are on the political spectrum, your precise views on abortion or gun control or this or that. I mean, those are important in their own right. Do not get me wrong. But the very question of America is being called right now, and you need the broadest possible coalition, a true united front, and we can't afford to be excommunicating people if we want to get there.
So what have the town hall meetings that you've already conducted been like? What's the results, and what do you plan on doing with all of these levels of feedback that you get?
It's fascinating, and part of me was wondering, and I think some of the people who attend the town hall are wondering, like, does this really matter? Is this me just feeling good? Is it signaling my own virtue in the face
I guess that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's like, is this going to be another hour of me just expressing myself and it not going further than the room? So, yeah.
And I think that those in power want us to feel powerless and hopeless and divided and succumb to despair. So I think the very act of showing up is powerful in its own right. And it's not showing up and let me listen and see Beto. It's showing up and holy smokes, 750 people are in this room in Amarillo, Texas. I didn't know there were other people who were concerned, who are willing to stand and be counted at this time of truth. And the great thing is that there's two microphones. I start with some opening remarks, and then everyone, we don't care your partisanship, we never screen or ask for it. Everyone who wants to gets a chance to speak or ask questions and tell us what they're going through. The young mother with a 12-year-old child with special needs who, because of the vouchers being passed, resources being drained from her local school, Trump proposing to cut the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, she's like, does my kid end up in a warehouse? She said, I'm a mama bear. I'm going to fight for that kid every day, but I just don't know how to fight. 750 people in that room are listening to her, and we all agreed, hey, we got to have her back. She lives in the Canyon ISD school district in the High Plains. If you can show up Monday at 7 p.m., you show up and have her back. Veterans who say, I served this country in Vietnam. I came back with PTSD. I'm already waiting 6 months to see a behavioral health specialist. Now Trump's going to cut 83,000 positions, most of them staffed by veterans at the VA. How is that going to help me? For the non-veterans in the room, they hear that man tell his story and it moves them. If it's just a statistic, if it's a Democratic Party talking point, I don't know that moves you. if it's another human being with whom you're sharing that moment, man, you want to fight for that guy because he fought for us. So I think there's power that comes out of that, and you'll see people volunteer. They'll sign up with us at Powered by People to register voters. They'll sign up with the food bank. They'll sign up to greet people at the VA. So good can come from that, but it only is possible when we come together.
Okay. Well, unfortunately we're out of time, but tell us a little bit more information about tonight's event. It's in Humble, you said?
We'll be in Humble at the Humble Civic Center, 6 p.m., and it's open to all.
Okay. All right. And you can sign up at poweredbypeople.org. Is that right?
That's right. poweredxpeople.org. Join us there.
Former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, thank you so much for joining us. Greg, thank you for the great questions.
I wanted to ask him more, but I'll walk him out.
You know, put him on your 600th.
Let's go have that beer.
I wish he could be on my panel every week.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.